Alright guys, I apologize for that. Welcome back to round 2 of Walks on Wall Street. We are having some technical difficulties, but that's alright, we'll power through. For those of you who are just joining and tuning in to round 2 for the stream, or part 2 I should say, we were talking about inflation tonight. This week is CPI week. So we are going to hear from the Bureau of Labor Statistics as they release the Consumer Price Index. Many economists on the street are forecasting about 3.6% year-over-year increase. So I'll go ahead and give everybody a couple minutes to get back in, and we will get started yet again. We are reporting live from Koreatown, Midtown Manhattan. It is a very rainy night. Very, very, very rainy night. So allow me a few moments here. Do da 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 da. Okay, let me just get my laptop situated. Alright, let me close things up. A little rainy. Could be worse. Alrighty. Oof. Okay, the rain is really picking up here. And let's go for round 2. Let me see if I could wipe the camera lens. TB says, what are my thoughts on cats? Relating cats as deli? I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. 10 out of 10. 2 thumbs up. I'm going to try to get somewhere where it's dry. I think this little nook and cranny here is dry. Let me just wipe up the camera lens for a moment. All right, sorry about that. Hey, Code Blue. Yeah, the camera does need an umbrella. So does this guy. All right, we're ready to rock and roll, team. Now, the rain is really coming down here in Midtown Manhattan. We are standing on the corner of Madison Avenue and East 33rd Street. But let me assure you, this rain is very much needed. It's been about 2 weeks in New York City with crazy, crazy, crazy hot temperatures. So I think the rain is good. You know, we gotta look on the bright side. We gotta be optimistic about it. The good thing is the rain is gonna wash away all the filth, all of the dirt, and all of the whatever is on the street. And it's gonna get a nice cleaning. So, 2 thumbs up for that. Exploration is here. Stephen Bate, Tommy G. What's up, Tommy? Welcome. Atomic Punk NYC says, evening Tom, rough night out. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I like these rain walks. I think it's very peaceful. So yeah, I'm happy about it. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Mark says the rain makes things green. That's for sure. Pretty soon, before you know it, we'll be doing walks in Central Park, where the leaves will be changing color. We'll have all that nice foliage. You have one Vanderbilt all the way in the distance. And let's make a left on 34th Street. I think the city looks really nice in the rain. You have all of the lights of the city reflecting off the wet concrete, which makes it look great. Hey, Troy Admin says, Tom, did you hear Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas has increased their Tesla price target by 60% to $400 a share? Now, Troy Atman, did anybody happen to see the Investors Business Daily cover story this week? Anybody? Now, for those of you who didn't see it, I would advise you check it out. Because when I was reading it, I was having like a little bit of a deja vu moment, because it was like reminiscing on a Walks in Wall Street stream. And the article was in relation. Now, I'll ask this question. Does anybody remember the main topic that we always talk about as it relates to Tesla? Pretty much any time Tesla reports earnings or we talk about the company, one of the main, I would say, characteristics that we discuss is Tesla's gross margins. Now, there's many stock analysts on Wall Street that work for many of these major investment banks and hedge funds that from the start have been really, really bullish on Tesla. I would say most notably, the most famous and most notable Tesla bull has been Ron Barron. And Ron Barron runs the very, very successful mutual funds, the Barron Funds. It's actually located right here in New York City. And essentially his bull thesis was that Tesla is so unique in that it has very, very high gross margins. Particularly before COVID, Tesla had, I think, up near 30% gross margins. And for an auto OEM, that is unheard of. If you do a little bit of comparative analysis from Tesla to General Motors to Toyota and all of the other auto manufacturers out there like Ford, you can't even compare the gross margins, right? If you take all of the other auto companies, you may be lucky to have mid-single digit gross margins, maybe. Now, the article was explaining exactly that. But what was so unique about the article is that on this stream we've been talking about how Tesla is probably going to undergo margin compression for a multitude of reasons. Obviously due to inflation, so their raw material costs are way up. The semiconductor shortage that has hit not only the auto industry but the technology industry as a whole is going to make those semiconductor components much, much more expensive. So Tesla's gross margins quarter over quarter have actually been eroding. Now, Elon Musk has said and has acknowledged this and have told analysts and investors that this is only temporary. This is going to be a temporary phenomenon where not only are they cutting prices to increase sales, which is eating into gross margin, but over time, those margins are going to expand and get back into the 30% range. So any thoughts on that? Do you think that's a little bit overblown? Anybody agree that we can get those gross margins back up to where they were? Rockstar says only Tesla and Toyota will survive according to Nick Kolas, which I completely agree. I don't even know who Nick Kolas is. Let me take a screenshot of that. Dan, what's up? Good to see you. Harry Connor says, what about Musk cutting Starlink to Ukraine? I read something about that, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's a private company, and if he's solely subsidizing that, I mean, those are massive losses. Now, I don't know all the details about that, but if the US government cuts Starlink a government contract to say, yeah, we'll pay for it and then send it over to Ukraine, I think that would be... No, I'm not making a political statement. I'm just talking about it in terms of the financials. But to expect Elon Musk to subsidize that out of his pocket, I think is a little crazy. I mean, I don't even know what's going on now, but... Hey, Ken Brockton says the cost reductions are permanent. You can't go back. Yeah, I mean, even though the cost reductions are permanent, it doesn't mean the gross margins are gonna, stay in the teens forever. I think the goal there is to, bank on inflation continuing to go down. Techno Pink is joining us from a very rainy Manhattan on East 36th Street. It's good to see you. Hey, Phil says it has nothing to do with the cost. He did it because it felt like it would escalate the conflict. Wow, that's good info. Yeah, I haven't really been following it. Now, I mean, let's be real. Is he saying that because of the costs? Like, I mean, if he's footing the bill for it, that's a pretty good way out to say, oh, I think it's just going to escalate the conflict even more. I don't know. We'll see. Frank S. says, shout out from South Carolina, from a former New Yorker. I love the view. Good to see you, Frank S. I think you're going to like this view a little bit better of the Empire State Building amongst the clouds on this very rainy night in Manhattan. Hey, Bree Grams, what's up? Hudson says, bit off topic, but you would really be helping. What are you using to broadcast? This is an iPhone 13 mini, and we are using Prism Live to broadcast. Let's go up 2 more blocks and then we will cut over and head back to 59th Street, Columbus Circle, because that's where I need to go anyway. Hey, Arthur's this federal tax credit of $7,500 on the Tesla. Matthew M. says, Tom, do you use AT&T? No, I use Verizon. Yep. I find that Verizon works the best in Manhattan. Very, very seldom do we have any problems with buffering in the city with Verizon. There's some select spaces where it's a little rough, but from my experience, Verizon works the best in Manhattan. Hey, Dag says, greetings, Tom, from Norway. It's 4:30 in the morning, 4 hours left on my night shift. Thank you for getting me through it. That is so cool. Thank you for joining from Norway. And hopefully the shift is going well so far. Hey, Brian says, hey, Tom, no wonder you can eat all the good food you burn off by walking about 13 miles a day. Yeah, I think it may be a little bit more now because business is picking up, so I'm traveling all over the city, but yeah, we do about 11 to 13 miles a day, which is good. Keeps the blood pumping, keeps me focused. Hey, FredX, good to see you. Thank you for joining us from the one and only Alaska. ATC, what's up? Code Blue says, do you do this all winter long? We do this all winter long. Now, I'm not really excited about the live streams in the winter just because I don't really like the cold, but it's always nice to do the live streams around the holidays. You see all the holiday lights, see the Christmas lights, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. It's a fun time. But I'll tell you this, after New Year's, and I'm not sure if anybody can concur with me, After New Year's, this is a nice Tesla here. I think that's the Tesla Model Y. Love that. After New Year's, I'm sick of the winter already. I'd rather be in Miami all of January, all of February, March, and even a little bit of April in New York could be horrible too. So, look, the holidays are nice. I like the holidays. I think the city looks beautiful. We'll see. KM Ramsey is here. Thanks for joining us. Brad's Brains says, Tom, living in H-Town, your streams are going to be my winter mood driver. Yeah, that's right. Brad, this is going to be your first year in H-Town, right? So 2 years ago was my first technical Christmas in Florida, right? However, I never actually spend Christmas Day in Miami because all of my family is here, right? But the point is, walking around, you know, like a week before Christmas in downtown Miami and in Brickell and seeing the palm trees decorated with Christmas lights, it's just like completely weird. And it's definitely something to get used to. I mean, even just being in South Florida a week before Christmas and you're driving around in the Vespa and it's 80 degrees and sunny, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like weird. You got to adjust to it. But anyway. Hey, Dell 1980 says hello from San Diego. Good to see you. Mark STR says, sup kids, what's going on? We are right across the street from the Stephen Schwarzman building. This is the New York Public Library. Stephen Schwarzman, you could think of Blackstone. This is going to be a really cool shot here. This is East 40th Street and 5th Avenue. You have a direct view of Bank of America Tower as well as Salesforce Tower and all of Bryant Park, which is actually where we're going to head right now. Adrian Pommels says, I can imagine it definitely feels weird. It does. Someone says Christmas in Australia is even weirder. You know, that's true, right? Because in Australia, the winter in the United States is Australia's summer. Is that correct? So December, January, and February is like the hot months in Australia. That is a little bit weird. I don't know if I could get used to that. Ooh, this is a really nice shot here in the rain. We'll walk all the way to 42nd Street and we'll do a little bit of an ASMR walk. So we'll begin that now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Super relaxing. So we are now looking directly down 42nd Street, all the way to Grand Central Station. You could see Shan, yeah, so I saw your comment. So Shan says, Tom, you said before that you like the matte black Tesla. What is it that you like personally? What is it that you personally like about the Tesla cars? Thinking of making the switch from BMW to Tesla myself. Well, I'd like to preface the answer by saying this. I do not currently own a vehicle, and I don't drive that often. So take what I say about like car reviews with an extreme grain of salt. Now that being said, I will say this. What drew me to Tesla at first, obviously, is the marketing master himself, Elon Musk. And I like the fact that Elon Musk is very entrepreneurial and very, gung-ho, full force, innovation, engineering, and entrepreneurship, which has me build confidence in his product and service. Additionally, number two, all of the different reviews that I've seen on YouTube for the Tesla, it sort of reframes my brain and has me think about the vehicle in a different way. To say I'm not buying a car, I'm literally buying a piece of modern engineering and a piece of software, right? All the different updates, all the different features that you can do. Lastly, I was just in an Uber. The first time I've ever taken an Uber that was a Tesla. Now, it was a Tesla Model Y. Obviously, if I were to buy a Tesla, it would probably be the Tesla Model X, because it has those gull wing doors that open up. It looks kind of cool. But the thing was a total rocket ship. It was amazing. And the driver, a very nice guy, was telling me all about the car. He just got it 2 months ago. There's so many different features, and I believe, and I'm confident, that it's the safest car on the road. We were driving on the West Side Highway, and the driver was showing me all the different cameras. There's a 360-degree view around the vehicle. You can see all of the cars that are coming up behind you. All of your blind spots are completely covered. It's just an amazing piece of engineering. Additionally, one of the features that I thought was really cool is, since it's an EV, right? Let's say you're parking your car in a very, very hot parking lot and you're running in to get groceries or something like that. You can program the temperature of the car so that it doesn't get above a certain temperature. So if it's 115 degrees out in Arizona and you're running into the store, the BJ's or something like that for an hour and a half, the car will automatically kick on the AC so that you don't go into like a 1,000-degree car. I'm sure we've all done that, right? You come into your car and you're like, oh my gosh, it's freaking hot. So that's cool. That's like a little mini detail. And I am very interested in the full autonomous driving, which I believe that package is about $6,000 for the additions for the self-driving. Is that right? Is it $6,000 for the add-on? Does anybody have a Tesla here? Back me up on this. What is the full autonomous package? I believe the add-on is about $6,000, right? Bill says it's $12,000 over the base. Bill says, Tom, the quality is hit or miss. My Model 3 is a mess. My friend's is fantastic. Really? So could you provide a little bit more context there? So are you saying it's a hit or miss on the build quality? Because I have read that before, and there's been some YouTube reviews that have said that. One of which is that the steering wheel on the Teslas come apart within a couple months. But supposedly Tesla's been doing a little bit better job with the build quality. Anthony says, Tom, it was 6 when I bought mine, but now it's 12,000. Ah, okay. So the price went up a little bit. So how is the fully autonomous driving? Is it not really autonomous? Now, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Ross Gerber. Ross Gerber runs the Gerber Funds. He's a very controversial fund manager. I like the guy. I think he's a good guy. But he owns a lot of like high beta growth stocks, so he's going to have a lot of volatility in his funds. He, as well as Ron Barron, which Ron Barron is one of the most legendary growth stock investors of all time. Extremely successful guy. The firm extremely successful guy. The firm is actually located in Midtown Manhattan, and they have been bullish on Tesla, I mean, before it was commonplace. On one of his videos, he's been doing some live streams on YouTube about the fully autonomous driving features of Tesla, and I wasn't really impressed. Okay, to sort of play devil's advocate and say the good and the bad. The Tesla, and this was done in California, the test drive. The Tesla was blowing stop signs, and Ross actually had to grab the steering wheel and interfere with the car and slam on the brakes, or they would have caused like a major collision. So I don't know. Obviously, you can nitpick and say whatever you want about it. It's programmed to get better based upon the more miles that the drivers drive, right? That's essentially how machine learning works. Is the more data you feed the machine, the more it learns, which I totally get and understand. But I just think all the features of the car, I tend to be a tech person, so I think all the nuanced features are really interesting to me. All right, let me catch up on some of the chats. We are now standing right outside the only Grand Central Terminal. I know, I saw that. Ross caused the stock to drop because of that. Sweet baby Jesus is here, welcome. Daryl, what's up? All right, Bill says the interior materials are very nice, but the overall build quality is poor. Justin S. says Tesla is a software company that makes cars. I would agree with that. You know, another interesting point about the Tesla, because I think that comment was very good. You know, Tesla is a software company that makes cars. That means if there's anything wrong with your vehicle, technically, not all the time, you don't really need to take it in to get serviced. It could remotely push all of the updates. So if you're parking it in your garage, your driveway, and you plug it in, it'll automatically update and fix all the bugs, which is pretty cool. Carl Roth says, Tom, my Tesla is great. I bought shares when it was $24. It went to $2.99. It's a great company. Love their after-sales support. That's fantastic. Now, how many miles is the warranty? Is it over 100,000 mile warranty? Hey, Davio Zip. This is incredible job, Tom. Really appreciate your work. Thank you so much, but I gotta go now. Well, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. RBs has called me old-fashioned, but not a fan of self-driving tech. I feel nervous on the Metro movers in downtown Miami, and they are on the track. Yeah, that's true, but the way I think about that, and it's proven, as this technology gets better, and again, as you test the technology and the more people drive the Teslas, the more data it collects and the better the software gets, and also the better the self-driving gets. So in theory, if I can close my umbrella up here, because we're gonna get dry for a little bit, but in theory, you good? Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, so the more the more data and the more miles the car drives, the better the tech gets, right? So in theory, over time, there's going to be less accidents on the road, which means that there's going to be less fatalities, and that is good news, right? I'm all for that. Particularly, I mean, think about how many people pass away every year from, driving under the influence. And 9 times out of 10, when that happens, the drunk driver really never dies. It's the unfortunate people that they crash into, is the people who perish. So imagine if the self-driving can get so good that if you're